what is classification? Now, don't be confused that I'm teaching some vocabulary in English. Now, before we go on to classification, I would like to ask you all a question. Have you ever been to a post office? If yes, you would have been noticed, or you would have at least have this knowledge that in a post office, all the mails or the posts that you do will be categorized into different compartments before they send it, or even when they receive some post to distribute in their nearby place, they'll first sort out as per the streets or as per the colonies, something like that. Now, why does this happen? And what is this whole process called? This happens to make the work easier, and this process is called classification. In other words, classification is the process of arranging data into different categories or groups based on shared characteristics to make it more understandable and useful for analysis. Which means, after systematically collecting and editing the data, the first step in presentation of data is classification. It is the process of arranging the data based on existing similarities and dissimilarities between them. Now, let us understand the difference between classification and tabulation. First, the meaning. Now, here, classification is the process of arranging data into sequences and groups according to their common characteristics and or separating them into different but related parts. But tabulation, in its broadest sense, is orderly arranging of data in columns and rows. Next, let us understand the purpose. Classification, it is done to simplify and organize the data before we analyze it. Whereas tabulation is done to present classified data clearly and concisely. The next one is form. It is text or logical grouping. Whereas tabulation is tabular format. As we already saw in the first point that it is rows and columns. So it is obvious that it is in a table format. The next one is stage. Classification comes before tabulation in the data processing cycle, whereas tabulation comes after classification. Let us understand the uses now. Classification is useful in sorting raw data, whereas tabulation is useful in comparing classified data. Now, what do we understand by this table? Classification is the first process and tabulation is the second one. Now, the information which we get or the data which we get, that is being segregated into groups. That is classification. Now, these segregated groups are presented in a format of table, which is tabulation. Now, let us understand the objectives or purpose of classification of statistical data. First purpose is that it is to summarize the raw data and present it in an appropriate form which is best suitable for statistical analysis. The next, to show the important characteristics of data and eliminate the difficulties. Next, it helps in making comparison and conclusions out of the data. The next, it gives information regarding the mutual relation of the elements of data sets. And the last point is that it helps to segregate various elements of data set by bringing out the similarities and dissimilarities among them. Hence, these are the points which help us show purpose or objectives of classification of statistical data. Thank you.